Come on in, sit back and relax. You're listening to episode 209 of the WealthTech Today podcast. I'm your host, Craig Iskowitz, founder of Ezra Group Consulting. This podcast features trends, analysis, news, interviews, and best practices all around wealth management technology. My guest for this episode is Rick Kent, founder and CEO of Merit Financial Advisors. A quick bio on Rick. Rick is an entrepreneur and visionary leader who founded Merit Financial Advisors on a servant leadership philosophy and a commitment to helping individuals reach their financial goals while supporting fellow advisors and entrepreneurs in meeting their professional goals. Rick has been widely recognized for his contributions to the industry, including being ranked among the Forbes top 10 best in-state wealth advisors. Rick had a clear vision for Merit's growth. He designed a program that allowed advisors to align with Merit in a number of ways. Now, I'd love talking to RIAs about their tech stacks, especially ones like Merit's that has a rags to riches story, which you are going to hear in just a few moments. I won't give it away, but Rick tells us all about how he took his firm's infrastructure from worst to first, and we dive into both what his tech stack used to be and how he got to his current application infrastructure. Talk a little bit about the key applications that they have at Merit and why they selected them, how they work together, and deliver a premier experience for their advisors and clients. Really enjoyed my conversation with Rick Kent. But before we get started, I have a message for all executives at wealth management firms. Your tech debt is holding back your business growth. Your old software platform is rusted and falling apart and needs an overhaul. Your disparate systems don't communicate with each other, and it's driving your ops team and advisors crazy with manual processes and errors. So if you're in charge of technology or operations for a broker-dealer, RIA, family office, or TAMP, you should run, not walk to our website, ezragroup.com, and fill out the Contact Us form on the homepage. Our experienced team can evaluate your current technology ecosystem, deliver targeted recommendations, optimize your existing systems and operations, or even run an RFP and help you select new software and implement it to take your firm to the next level. You can take advantage of our free consultation offer by going to ezragroup.com. A couple housekeeping items before we begin. Please subscribe to this show wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss an episode. Please go to investinothers.org to learn more about the Invest in Others Charitable Foundation. They raise funds to give to charities that are sponsored or promoted by financial advisors. It's a great cause. All right, let's kick this thing off. All right, I'm excited to introduce our next guest. It is Rick Kent, founder and CEO of Merit Advisors. Hey, Rick, welcome.
Craig, good to be with you this morning.
I'm so glad to have you. I'm glad you can make some time in your very busy schedule for us to talk advisor tech and about Merit Advisors. Where are you calling in from?
Today, I'm in Florida, northern Florida, in the Panhandle area.
Nice. I love Florida. We have a lot of clients. We have clients all over the country, but we have some very big clients in Florida. I didn't go in there a lot this year. It's been really beautiful. Fortunately, fewer storms.
Yeah, it's beautiful today, Craig. It's an awesome day today.
Excellent. Well, let's just jump right in. Rick, can you please give us a 30-second elevator pitch for Merit Advisors?
Yeah. So Merit Advisors is a very fast-growing RIA. We have invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money into technology. You and I talked about this previously, probably about 3 years ago. We made a decision to make a big investment into technology. It's beginning to really pay off, and we're excited about where we are, and we're excited about the future. We do a lot of acquisitions as well. We did 12 acquisitions last year. We've done 7 so far this year. We'll complete a couple more before the year end. Merit's probably around $10 billion today, and we have a lot of initiatives going, and pretty excited about our potential, about our growth.
It does sound exciting, and I know we did a little bit of prep, and I was very interested in your story and sharing that. Can you take us back in time? So obviously this is the WealthTech Today podcast. We're talking about wealth tech. So I'm really interested in tech stack. And can you go back in time about 3 years? Talk to me about how what was going on in the business at the time, and what gave you the impetus to revamp your tech stack.
Yeah, Craig, it was, I'm going to say about 3 years ago, we were around $4 billion of assets under management at the time. Had probably just under 100 employees or so. And I was in a boardroom one day, and we were having our executive leadership team meeting. And I remember Craig going home that night because something came up during the day about it was some questions around our technology. And I began to question myself as the CEO and saying, Rick, where are you? I mean, the company's growing. You're up to 4 billion. You had aspirations to continue to grow, but how much have you really thought about how important technology is? And where do we stand today? I began asking myself that question. And Craig, I want to be honest. I would give back then, 3 years ago, looking at Merit, a $4 billion RIA firm at the time, I would give us a D minus. That's D as in dog minus. Okay.
I don't care what school you go to, Rick. That's a bad grade.
It was not I had to be honest, but that's where we were. And then Craig, then I started thinking about it, and I thought, wait a minute, we're growing. We have aspirations to, get to 10 billion, and we have aspirations to go beyond that. And I wondered, if I don't get the technology figured out now, how much harder is it going to be down the road? Right? The bigger the firm is, it seems like we start building some things here, some things there without a really good strategic plan. Are we going to end up just tearing all that down and rebuilding it because it wasn't done right? And I thought, now's the time. This was 3 years ago. I thought to myself, now is the time. I need to figure this out. And I need to really make sure I got the technology right, because technology is affecting every industry. Craig, I think it's going to affect the financial services industry even more so. We live in a world where delivering digital information to our clients, and this is something we have to get right, and it's going to change quickly on us. So when I thought about this, I thought, I don't want to just come up with a solve for technology for who we are today. I need to come up with a solve for who we're going to become in the future. And so at that point, I really started putting a lot of emphasis on building out our tech stack.
Indeed, looking at where you were at the time, if you're going to build the tech for a $4 billion RIA, that wouldn't do you any good, since you knew where you were going. You needed to build tech that was scalable. We see this all the time. You need to look down the road, which you did, just to build that scalable tech stack. So can you walk me through what is your tech stack, and why did you pick those particular, what is the core of your tech stack at the moment? What's your portfolio management and the core of the platform?
Yeah. So we're a hybrid firm, and I think that term is used in industry a lot. So what I mean by when I say a hybrid firm, 85% of our business is fee-based business, assets under management. We're charging a fee, but we also have brokerage business with variable annuities and other alternatives and brokerage type products. And so we do both. And to be a hybrid RA, it's a little tougher because of technology, because you're getting information from a lot of different sources, right? If you're working with a variable annuity company, they're providing you their information through a statement or through a portal. If you're dealing with a broker dealer, you have them you're working with. And Merit's multi-custodial. So we work with Fidelity, work with Schwab, work with LPL. We work directly with vendors. And so we wanted to bring all that together. So one thing we knew that we wanted is that if somebody had different accounts at different places, we wanted to be able to pull it together and show that on one statement. And that was really important to us. So when you're preparing for a review, our clients, our clients would come in, our advisors would spend a lot of time pulling from these different sources to show the client, well, you've got an account at Prudential, for example, you got an account at Fidelity, 529 plan, you got this account over to LPL. So we wanted to pull all that together. The other thing that we wanted is we wanted data that we could use for reporting. We wanted to be able to track our data. We wanted to know what marketing campaigns were working, which ones were not. We wanted to be able to compare quarter over quarter or year over year.
How big was your tech team 3 years ago?
We had one person. We had one person who was an advisor who raised his hand and said, I'd be glad to help out if we have tech issues and fixing people's, when they can't get access or something's not working correctly. I said, great. So you're hired. And then he had a part-time person working with him.
That's basically one and a half, or maybe one person.
Maybe one, because he was an advisor and the other person was part-time. Yeah.
Right. So, and now how many do you have now?
We have 13 people in our technology department today, and the team is getting stronger. We're getting ready to hire another one, so it'll be 14. And team's getting stronger every day. It's amazing too, Craig, the difference. So, think about the different departments. You have the investment department. Once the investment department knows that they can get data, they want more of it, right? Give me good, clean data, give me reliable data. And so they start thinking of all the things they could do if they could get these reports delivered to them. Well, the marketing department starts looking at your technology department, and they say, gosh, I'd really like to have data on these campaigns and whether they work or not. And you got your compliance department that says, gosh, we would like to have certain kinds of reporting for this. So today, all of our different departments are making lots of requests. I found out yesterday, Craig, that since we started a ticketing system, when you need something done, instead of just calling, you have a ticketing system where let's submit a ticket. It goes into order of priority. The technology department gets back to you and tells you when they can fulfill that request. I found out yesterday, Craig, this is amazing. Since March, we've had over 3,000 requests since March from the technology department. Yeah.
Where'd all those requests go before?
Before March, it was really people just calling our technology department and saying, hey, can you help with this or help with that? And they were getting so inundated that they had to come up, with a ticketing system.
So let's talk about your tech stack. So I know you guys use Orion as the core. Why did you choose them, and how have they been during this period of rapid growth?
When we did our research and thinking about what the different platforms that were out there, Orion seemed it works for us. There's some other great ones at Black Diamond. There's some other good ones out there. But at the research that we did, Orion seemed to work the best. It fit us. We're getting out of Orion what we need, and so it takes a while when you get reporting coming in from your different vendors. We have pipelines built from our custodians that feed data in, and it goes into our data warehouse, so we own that data. And sometimes the challenge a lot of times, Greg, is things will come in from Fidelity a certain way, they'll come in from LPL a different way, and a lot of it's feeding into Orion, but we have to figure out exactly how it's being fed and understand it, so it becomes meaningful data to us. But Orion has worked really well with us.
That's terrific. Yeah, in having the core of the portfolio management platform be solid and be able to grow with you is critically important.
Yeah, and it's based on the number, the pricing and all that's based on usage, and our usage just keeps climbing, and we have over 8,000 households now. So they've grown with us as we got started with them.
8,000 households is not a trivial number.
Yeah,
that's
a lot of those households have 3 or 4 accounts, 2 or 3 accounts at least.
I'm sure. Looking at your talk, you mentioned a bit ago about the data. So that's something that's also important. We work with a lot of RIAs as well, and helping them build out data warehouses. You mentioned you've got a lot of data. What are some of the things you did, to build out that data, and how was that important to driving the way you manage your business?
Absolutely. So, we've, again, good partners. LPL has been a good partner. Fidelity's been a good partner. Schwab, and it's working with them to provide us the data. They get the data feeds, right? And so as they get their data feeds, we build a pipeline from their platform to our platform to our warehouse, and it's just amazing once you can see that data. Think of a data warehouse. Just think of a warehouse in general, and think about everything on the shelf there and everything organized. With these numbers, with this data, you can basically do pretty much anything you want. You can say it's really more, what kind of report do you want? How do you want to organize this data? Do you want to show it this way? Do you want to show it that way? Do you want to carve out certain things with that data and for reporting? And so it's the world's really limitless once you have the data where you can request, how you want to read it and how you want to get it reported on.
Can you do things like, I know you've got a lot of regions where you divide up your organization. Can you do assets by region, advisor performance? Are those the kind of things you can do with this data?
That's a great example. So we have like 9 different regions across the country, and we have we call them regional directors that run their region. Think of it like they run their own P&L. So every week now, Craig, they get a regional director dashboard. And the regional director dashboard has a lot of relevant information. We actually got them to collaborate with us to find out what they really wanted in this dashboard. But so you can imagine some of the things that was very important to them. They wanted to know, okay, first of all, where do I stand today? How much assets under management have we picked up today in our region? How much did we pick up in the last quarter? How does that compare to a quarter from a year ago? Then they can actually even drill down to each individual advisor in the region. Let's say they have 7 or 8 advisors in their region. The regional director can say, I want to see a report. Who's my top advisor? Who's second? Who's third? How much assets have they brought in? Net new assets have they brought in? And the advisors themselves can actually go in there and drill down by client. So they can say, so the regional director is interested in how his region is doing. The advisor wants to know, well, how am I doing? And so who's my best clients? Who's my top 10 clients? Who's my top 10%? They can actually drill down. Our data will drill down and tell the advisor, these are your top clients.
What we always find amazing when we work with a lot of RIAs similar to Merit is how many are growing and operating without this kind of data. That they're really kind of flying. You think imagine now that you've seen it, without it, you're flying blind. So I know you guys built it in Power BI because you're on Azure for your cloud.
Correct.
Built it. We've helped clients build it in Salesforce or build it in other tools. Whether you're in AWS, there's other tools there. So the tool doesn't really matter. It's that you make the decision, as you did, to make the investment to build a data warehouse, connect all the key data sources, which can be complicated and can take, as you noted, could take 2 years to get everything the way you want. But once you have it, then the ability to manage your business in a much more mature way is available to you.
It is amazing. I tell you, it's and to your point, flying blind. If you don't know that, you end up making decisions without really having the right information, right? So I'm not going to say we're all the way there, but we're getting closer every day, Craig, where we're making data-driven decisions. The data doesn't lie. It's like when you spent $3,000 on a marketing campaign, you know exactly how much money came back from that marketing campaign. You know whether to invest more money in that marketing campaign or not. And rewarding your recognizing your top advisors. Well, you need to know who they are, and you need to have that information and data right at your fingertips, right? And so that the management of the RIA really needs to know what's going on, and the data is all there. But it's a matter of corralling all that data. To your point, having it into a warehouse that you can access on a regular basis in order to get that information.
And some of the things that are coming down the pipe, you had mentioned you have some other reporting that you're looking to build out in Power BI.
Yes. So again, and there's no limit. It's like what type. So really, my tech team they came to our executive leadership team and says, "Tell us what you want. What kind of reports you want to see? We can pretty much deliver anything. What do you want to see?" And certainly that having your hand on the pulse of just watching the assets flow in and out and know exactly what's going on is huge. And 2022 was a down year for the market. Market was down. S&P was down like 19%. Huge impact on our firm.
Mhm.
because of that, Craig. I mean, we saw $1.2 billion AUM drop. We saw $7 billion in revenue drop. And times like that, it's really important to know the data, what's going on and what you can do to correct it, and work your way out of a situation like that in a downturn in the market.
One of the most important parts of any advisor or any RIA tech stack is your client portal. This has been a particular area of one of my pet peeves is the multitude of client portals we see multiplying across the industry, where firms will have a one portal on their portfolio management tool, then another portal from their financial planning tool, then their custodian has a portal, then their annuity has a portal. So you took a different approach. Can you talk about what the approach you did to build Merit's client portal?
Yeah, and that's correct. So think about, again, let's say you use eMoney for your planning. So you get your clients on eMoney. Clients want to be able to stay in touch with their plan, so now they have a login for eMoney. Let's say they want to figure out they have like a 529 plan over at Fidelity. They have some bank accounts, and they've got logins for their bank accounts. They've got credit card information. You have logins for that. Login, right? And so what we're saying to our clients today, we have built our own portal, Greg, and we have our own app. It's live and working today. And basically, with our clients, they can be anywhere in the world and in the palm of their hand through their cell phone our all their financial data, and with one single login. So if they want to log in, when they log into our portal, they are connected. Our portal communicates and talks with eMoney. It talks with MoneyGuide Pro. The clients can aggregate all their accounts. They're not accounts that are held with Merit. They could be an account with a bank or whatever, or credit card account, their 401k account, their 403b account. They can aggregate all their accounts and have that at their fingertips, their phone, anywhere in the world. So to your point, instead of having all of these different logins to manage your financial life, we have a portal. You have one login and you have access to everything.
Kudos to you guys. Big props, because that's not an easy thing to do. What was the underlying technology behind your client portal?
Well, we asked the question in the beginning, do we really want to build everything from scratch? Can we start with a certain chassis and just start building on top of that? Our CRM is Salesforce, and we've built out probably 30, 40 workflows in Salesforce, which has been key. Orion is, as we mentioned earlier, a big reporting tool for us and gathering data from there. So we were building it out. It's like, how much do we build, and what chassis can we build off of? So Wealth Access was the chassis that we chose to say we're going to build on top of this. It accomplished a lot in itself, and we just kind of built on top of that to customize the way that we want to build it.
I think that's fantastic. It's just great to see this moving in this direction of a single client portal rather than multiple client portals, and making the client experience paramount and thinking about how to make their lives easier.
And really, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? We certainly, a lot of us in the industry should take our cues from Amazon. Amazon's a very
keep hearing that a lot. We want to be the Amazon of this. The Amazon. Why can't we be more like Amazon? It's become a cliche.
Yeah. We want to be Amazon easy, right? And so for our clients, we want it to be very simple for them. One login, everything's right there. They don't need to log in at 4 different places to get what they need. And I think also delivering it right with the right user experience. That's very, very important, right? It's got to be it has to be simplified. It has to make sense. And when you're creating your own portal, you have your own data. Again, you have the flexibility to do that.
And very quickly, let's talk about insourcing versus outsourcing. You had outsourced your hardware support to True North, but at some point you brought that back in-house. Can you just give me like a 2-minute overview of that decision?
Absolutely. So, we it's like we definitely had to outsource in the beginning, and as you mentioned with True North, they were helping in a lot of different ways. Great company to work with, and we're just looking at the cost then and say, oh, how much does it cost us to outsource? And what if we compared that to bringing qualified people in house? And we did that comparison, and it made sense for us to bring these people in house. So today we got 3. We're currently getting ready to hire a 4th, and we have offices across the country. So we're on the West Coast, we're as far as Washington State, and then on the East Coast, we're Connecticut. That area, I guess, is furthest east. So we have really a technology support group in different time zones throughout the country. And right now it's 3 people that they were assigned to different regions, but we're getting ready to hire a 4th. And that's been huge. The big thing I saw there, Craig, when you have problems with your software, you have problems with your even hardware, things connecting, things talking to each other. It's what usually happens is you run into a problem and then you call for help, right?
Naturally.
And it's, yeah. So what we found by bringing people in house, they really have gotten to know our systems, our company. So we can be proactive now instead of waiting for something to break and then calling somebody outsourced group in to help you out to fix the problem. We're being proactive now and trying to anticipate problems and issues before they happen.
That's the way to go. Be proactive. Being proactive, I'm going to take the proactive reins here, running the podcast. And we would be remiss if we didn't talk about another key part of your tech stack, which is Nitrogen, formerly the company formerly known as Riskalyze, since they were the reasons why we got together here, because you made an announcement about a partnership with them. Can you talk some more about that?
Yeah. So, great partnership with Nitrogen. A lot of our advisors, we have 65 advisors. I would say a large majority of our advisors use Nitrogen. And, some of the reasons why is that first of all, I think Nitrogen does a good job of reporting. They do a good job of putting visuals together that makes sense to the client. Most advisors will tell you that they take complicated things in our industry and put it in simple terms for clients to understand. So I think Nitrogen's approach is like that. So, their whole score from 0 to 100, kind of like a speed limit, what speed are you going? What's your score? Clients can relate. Yeah, it's like, okay, I see I'm a 70. Okay, I guess I'm somewhat risky. It also, I think Nitrogen does a good job of, you can kind of pull the reports that you want to show the client. And most of them are client friendly, like I said. They'll also look at things like over the next 6 months and say, here's the risk that in today's market, we're long-term investors, but if you're thinking about the next 6 months, here's some things to consider, like Fed funds, are they going to raise rates again, things like that. They also, they have like a GPA, like a grade point average score for the actual investments. So clients are going to go to their advisor and say, well, what do you think about this investment? Well, it's easy. Nitrogen, they can pull that up and say, well, here's what how you can think about that investment. Here's the cost. Here's the returns. And so it kind of gives them like a score and a rating on those investments. So there's just a ton of advantages there using Nitrogen. It's the asset allocation. Let's say you're comparing, client has 10 investments in an asset allocation, and you're an advisor and you will say, well, let me take a look, do a deep dive into the 10 holdings that you have. Let's compare that to some other holdings that I'm going to recommend to you. Here's the pros, here's the cons. So it's tools like that make Nitrogen a really great software to use. Good technology.
Well, Rick, we've said it all. I mean, thank you for sharing all this information about your tech stack, your journey, the tools, some of the thought process behind that. We're pretty much out of time. Can you tell the listeners where they can find out more information about Merit Advisors?
Yeah, just Google Merit Financial Advisors. meritfinancialgroup.com is the website there. We do get quite a bit of media press, easy to find.
You heard it here. They're easy to find, everyone. Great. Rick, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Craig, thank you. Thank you for your time today.
Hey, it's Craig again. Here are my top 3 takeaways from this episode. 3 years ago, Merit Financial Advisors was at $4 billion in AUM. And Rick Kent, the CEO, took a page out of Ezra Group's playbook and did a tech stack top to bottom assessment. Now, he gave Merit's tech a grade of a D-, which is harsh, but he used that to launch a program to make their technology the #1 priority of the firm. Number 2, another Ezra Group recommendation that we offer to fast-growing RIAs that Rick took advantage of is to build a data warehouse, which Rick accomplished. And now they have management dashboards. They can build any kind of reporting that they want, success of marketing campaigns, asset by region, advisor performance, net new assets, anything. It's all based on the data warehouse, building that layer and having the right tools and technologies to consolidate data from all of your key applications. Number 3, the biggest challenge in revamping a tech stack, according to Rick, number 1, tempering expectations of the team for the delivery time of a large tech spend. Well, that should be letter A. 3A. 3B, technology adoption and training. It's a big challenge. And 3C, helping clients with the conversion. All right, that's a wrap. You've made it to the end of another episode of the WealthTech Today podcast. Thanks for listening. Please go to our website, EzraGroup.com, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, and sign up for our newsletter. Every month, you'll receive an email chock full of wealth management goodness, news, information, updates. You will not be disappointed. Thanks for listening, and talk to you all again next time.